Executive Cabinet Member Stronger Communities meeting today. We will do a round of introductions. I'm Councillor Rabia Jiva, and in no particular order, if you could just introduce yourselves, because we are recording and for the members of the public. So, Councillor Wright.
Councillor Wright, Horwich and Blackrod. So
Brilliant. Councillor Sanders.
Yep, Councillor Paul Sanders, Farnworth South.
Brilliant. Councillor Vivas.
Good evening, everybody. Councillor Gary Vivas, Smithers Ward.
Brilliant. Rachel.
Rach Tanner, Director of Adults and Communities.
Brilliant. Ian.
Ian Mulholland, Democratic Services.
Councillor Cohen.
Hello, Councillor Amy Cowan, Bromley Cross Ward.
Excellent. Lynn.
Lynn Hadleys from the Finance of the Council.
Brilliant. Mark.
Mark Aspin, Assistant Director, Community Safety and Housing.
Brilliant, thank you. Just to note, no apologies, Ian, just to double check.
Well, Councillor Tracy Wilkinson, yes, and Councillor Sanders in place. That's the only one.
That's absolutely fine. Thank you very much. Okay, so papers have been circulated, and I'm hoping everybody have received that and managed to read it. Monitoring of decisions, which was enclosed. Is there any questions, anything around that? Okay, because I have minimized my screen, so if anybody indicates, Ian, just give me the heads up. So on that basis,
no one's indicating, that's just for noting. Yeah.
So thanks. Can we note that document? And then we'll go straight into the agenda item, Commission of Lived Experience Team for Bolton, which, if I'm correct, Mark Aspin will take us through this paper. And then if colleagues indicate any questions, etc., either, Mark, do you prefer it throughout, or as we go along, we can indicate?
Perhaps, Councillor, if I just go through the paper and then if anybody's got any questions at the end.
Brilliant. Excellent. Let's go for it then, please.
Thanks, Councillor. So this report requests permission to award a contract to a third sector organisation to provide a multiple disadvantaged lived experience team to work within a programme that is called Changing Futures, which is a national programme as part of our community housing services function. And within that function, they will be part of a multidisciplinary team. This team works with some of the most complex individuals affected by homelessness, addiction, mental health, contact with the criminal justice system, and affected by quite often domestic abuse, and some of the most complex cases that we come across from both a housing perspective, but also as wider partners. Across Bolton, there currently exist several partnerships that work strategically and operationally in the best interest to experience those disadvantages, and very much the piloting that's detailed within this report is guided by national and regional learning, and we've got essentially an ambition to develop a model of service that would enable recent and past service users with the experience to support people on their journey, having been there themselves, and essentially form a central core offer as part of testing this new approach, sitting alongside that multidisciplinary team that sits within the community housing services function. The team itself will initially comprise of 3 lived experience navigators, 3 associate navigators, so those are individuals that are being supported to work towards working with people, and a number of volunteer peer mentors who may not be ready to manage cases themselves but are in a position to start to help other people. And that team will be embedded alongside the existing community housing services team and multidisciplinary staff from relevant other services. Much of the detail of that is detailed in section 2. We're looking to procure the service through the use of the Community Services Flexible Purchasing System, which has on it a framework of local providers who've got the right skills and expertise to provide this function. And the 3 options that we have available to us are detailed in section 3, which is to commission it directly through the third sector, which is the recommended decision, to recruit direct, which is an option that we've considered, but given the pilot status of this programme, isn't one that we currently recommend, and or do not pursue this approach at all. The financials are detailed in the next section, and ultimately this programme is fully funded through a grant that's been obtained through GMCA. So again, forms part of the regional work around Changing Futures itself. In terms of the recommendation, the executive cabinet member is recommended to allocate funding for an initial 12-month period to allow for the award of the contract to a third sector partner for the provision of a lived experience team to work within the Changing Futures programme, to agree for commissioning officers working with the community safety team to begin the commissioning and procurement exercise, utilising a mini competition within the community services framework as a vehicle. This contract will be for a term of 1 year with the option to extend it by a further year. Delegate authorities to the Director of Adult Communities to formalise and complete the appropriate contractual arrangements and authorise the Borough Solicitor to carry out the necessary legal formalities. Welcome any questions.
Brilliant. Ian, because I've minimised on the screen because looking at the document, is there anybody indicating? Councillor Cohen? I'll bring that back up.
Thank you very much, and thank you for the report. I think it's a really excellent initiative. I think it's easy to lose sight of the fact that more often than not, people have lots of different problems and issues. It isn't ever just one single thing like homelessness or drug addiction or anything like that. And it's tackling that kind of complex set of situations that it's really, really key to changing people's outcomes. The question is just around funding. So I see that there's a grant which would facilitate this this service for 12 months with an option to extend for a further 12 months. Please, can you just clarify how long the grant would the grant just cover the first 12 months, or would it cover a 2-year period? And then if this system is really working well, which hopefully it will be, what do we do with regards funding after the initial grant? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor. So the grant would essentially fund the first year in full. There is some funding available to continue that within the second year, but that will be subject also to a contribution from the local authority and or wider partners. The key here is that we're looking at testing the principle of how this works, and by demonstrating that we're able to achieve better outcomes at lower cost, we can then look at sustaining investment between ourselves and other partners around this model that allows us to be able to sustain it over an extended time period. The key bit of why we've got the grant kind of up front is to test that methodology and refine it as well during that process, so we can see what works best. But there is certainly a commitment from within the housing services team to contribute towards that financially through the use of the likes of our prevention grant that we do get from national government, which is geared towards those that are at risk of rough sleeping.
And Councillor Cohen, just to come in there, we've seen this around the country and other local authorities, and it's also looking at the demand profiling, because what will it look like for Bolton? And this will allow us to look at, is it oversubscribed, have we got enough resources, etc. But we'll be able to see the outcomes and hopefully progress that and build on that moving forward.
That's great, thank you. So will it come back here? Will it come back to the ECM? Will we have an opportunity to hear sort of in 12 months, 24 months time what the impact is? Because it would be really interesting to hear what the impact has been in Bolton.
I'm sure, Mark, we can bring that back and then get it out.
Yeah.
100%.
Thank
Brilliant.
you.
Councillor Devers, your hand's up next.
All right. Yeah. So, I mean, option 2, you're ruling that out, well, because it's too costly. Does the MCA grant not apply to option 2, or is it just simply too costly to insource this to current departments within the council?
Yeah, there's a couple of reasons for our thinking around this. Firstly is the timescale. So obviously testing that new model by bringing in a third party with experience and knowledge of working around lived experience is a distinct advantage. Also, as you said, the kind of cost implications are also a factor when we're looking at the kind of support infrastructure around volunteers and other things too. We've got some partners that work around us that can bring some real skills, and what we can do as part of this process is learn from that and then make another informed decision as we move forward about actually is the local authority best placed to take this forward itself and recruit staff directly, or maintain a view that we can contract that out for now and buy in the support infrastructure for the individuals themselves as part of that arrangement, and it will feed into that process.
Okay, thank you.
Brilliant. Councillor Ali?
Yeah, I just wanted to applaud the fact that you're recommending that the voluntary sector get this opportunity. I was wondering though, that will it go out for expression of interest in the voluntary sector, or have you already got somebody in mind in the voluntary sector?
No, so it will be via mini competition. So there's a good number of VCSE sector organisations that are already on the community services framework, and they bring a range of skills to that table. And so what we're hoping for is that a number of those do apply, and I'm quite there is the potential for them to work together to do that, where they can bring different skill sets to bear as well, and something that we can support them with through the application process. But there's no pre-decision been made about the organisations that could win this contract.
Yeah, and Achieve Drug and Alcohol Recovery Service do actually have an officer or a couple of officers who do this, dealing with people with multiple complex needs. So it's really, really needed. And those officers, I know they, you know, the overwork. So it's good. It's adding to that, adding value to that. So all for it.
Great, thank you.
Anybody else? Any more questions, observations, feedback? Brilliant. So what we'll do moving forward, it's important that we bring this back and, you know, the learning, etc. But please, in between that time as we progress, I'm sure, Mark, we can give updates, who it's been awarded to, etc. And moving forward, I always say, if you want to go out and see the work happening on, you know, at frontline, please do reach out and see. And equally, if you want anything in between, Mark's door, Rachel's door and my door is open. Have them conversations. And if you hear things anecdotally, it's not working, it's working, or whatever, good or positive, please feed that back as well. But we'll keep you in the loop. So Ian, any other business?
No, if you just formally agree recommendations, Councillor G.
Yes, and I would formally recommend the recommendations that are set out as per paper.
So you're agreeing those, that's great. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
That's all the business today.
Brilliant. Well, everybody take care. And if you are about in the town centre, 6:30, we've got the youth engagement. We've got various services out, having a kickabout with football and other activities in the town centre. And we do know we are going to go borough-wide as well. So it's not just limited to the town centre. Take care, everybody. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Bye.
You too. Enjoy Zambia.
Thank you. Bye.